Straight ahead on IU NewsNet, the FBI raids two homes belonging to a respected and tenured IU professor and his wife. IU then terminated their employment without due process that same day. It's getting national attention. We have team coverage just ahead.
And 44 years at IU comes to an end for the men's basketball head trainer shortly after his name was added atop a high-profile lawsuit against a former team doctor. We'll have more on that story.
And spring comes in like a lion with high winds, tornadoes, and what could be record rainfall and flooding throughout the weekend. IU NewsNet starts now. Welcome to IU NewsNet. I'm Lacie Carr.
And I'm Claire Tips.
It was a long and sleepless night for thousands of people across Indiana as tornadoes touched down, storms ripped across the state, and 75-mile-an-hour winds left a trail of damage.
But it's not over. Flash flood warnings and travel advisories remain in effect, with up to 5 more inches of rain expected through Sunday. Sirens blared as the powerful line of storms moved across the Midwest. This video shows a tornado that tracked all the way from Brownsburg to Eagle Creek, Broad Ripple, Carmel, Fishers, and Noblesville. In Brownsburg, the tornado collapsed the roof of the Sur La Table warehouse, where crews rescued a woman trapped beneath the destruction. Here in Bloomington, sirens sounded as well, warning of another tornado. But it was the intense thunderstorms that caused the most damage. Heavy rainfall flooded most of the city. This is 3rd Street under the B line, where a driver got stuck in high water. Bloomington residents are worried about their basements flooding. And Dunn Meadow, which finally reopened this semester after renovations, was submerged last night. Parts of State Road 46 near Brown County State Park were impassable. And there is rain leaking through the roof of Simon Scott Assembly Hall. With more rain on the way, flash flooding remains a serious threat, so remember not to drive into standing water or flooded roads. Even shallow water can stall your vehicle, and downed power lines beneath the surface can be extremely dangerous. Now to another major story. There is growing mystery regarding an FBI raid and the sudden dismissal of a tenured IU Luddy professor and his wife, a systems analyst for IU Library Technologies.
The reason for the raid is one aspect of the story, and the manner of their termination from IU another. We have team coverage from IU NewsNet's Emma Herwehe and Kelsey Pease, who both join us in studio. Kelsey and Emma.
We'll begin with the FBI raid. Last Friday, the FBI served search warrants at 2 homes belonging to Luddy School professor Xiaofeng Wang and his wife. The two have not been seen in public since, but IU NewsNet has learned from their lawyers that they are safe and have not been arrested. More on that in a moment.
But why the raid? Well, we're still trying to figure that out. Then there's the abrupt termination that took place that same day.
Wang, a tenured expert in cybersecurity at IU for 20 years, was terminated from his position, and he and his wife were scrubbed from all university web pages.
With the lack of response from the university and the FBI and no charges made public, this is, to put it simply, a mystery.
Kelsey and I have been digging into this story all week. Here's what we know. Former Luddy School of Informatics, Computing, and Engineering professor Xiaofeng Wang is a distinguished, internationally recognized scholar in topics such as cryptography, system security, and data privacy. His wife worked as a lead analyst for IU Library Technologies. Last Friday, the FBI raided their homes in both Carmel and Bloomington. Video from a neighbor in Carmel shows the FBI seizing boxes of evidence from the homes and a woman being ordered out of the house. Agents then take her phone and question her in the driveway. Later that day, Wang was terminated from his position at IU, and he and his wife were erased entirely from university web pages.
He brings in millions of dollars in grants for his research. There's not a blemish on his record in 20 years. He has tenure, and on March 28th in the afternoon, the university fired him without giving a reason.
We reached out to the FBI for more details and received this statement. Quote, the FBI conducted court-authorized law enforcement activity this past Friday at homes in Carmel and Bloomington. We have no further comment at this time.
He may be completely innocent. He may turn out to be the head of an international spy ring. I don't know, because they're not saying what he's charged with or what they're claiming he has done or anything like that. We don't know.
Tanford said Wang did face research misconduct allegations earlier this semester, which led to Wang being suspended from campus early March. We reached out to IU regarding his termination, which does not follow university policy. The university referred us back to the FBI. This is the second time under IU President Pamela Whitten's administration that a tenured professor has been removed from their position without due process.
It has us all frightened as faculty, basically, which is if they can just go around firing people whenever they want for no reason and not following the policies, and even if we have tenure, no one is safe.
Tanford said that Wang has accepted a job elsewhere for next school year. Wang's research, which is now wiped from university web pages, has previously received high praise from IU.
Normally, the university is proud of their faculty, particularly one of his distinction, and they want to keep all of his publications up there. No, this is highly unusual.
Groups like the IU Computer Science Department have begun to speak out against Wang's termination. In a letter from the IU Bloomington chapter of the American Association of University Professors, members wrote, quote, "The mere fact of investigation or of unadjudicated allegations cannot justify failure to comply with university policies on the part of the administration. It is fundamental that individuals are presumed innocent until proven guilty." This is still a developing story, and we will keep you updated in the weeks to come. I have filed 2 public records requests with the university for details on the termination of Wang and his wife. A Stanford scholar has also filed a motion with the federal court to unseal the warrants used to raid Wang and Ma's homes.
On Wednesday, we received word from Wang's legal representation. Jason Covert, firm partner, said they cannot comment on the investigation at this time, but they did give us this statement. Quote, "Neither Prof. Wang nor Ms. Ma have been arrested and both are currently safe. Further, there are no pending criminal charges as far as we are aware. Prof. Wang and Ms. Ma are thankful for the outpouring of support they have received from colleagues at Indiana University and their peers across the academic community. They look forward to clearing their names and resuming their successful careers at the conclusion of this investigation." End quote. More to come. Lacie and Claire, back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Emma and Kelsey. Another longtime IU employee, men's basketball trainer Tim Garl, is no longer on the job. Garl's personal attorney told the IDS, quote, "Garl was informed by athletic director Scott Dolson that his contract will not be renewed for his 45th season," end quote. This comes 2 months after 5 former IU men's basketball players filed a class action lawsuit against IU. Former team Dr. Brad Bomba Sr. and added Garl to the suit. The suit alleges Dr. Bomba's team physicals went too far, amounting to sexual assault, and that Garl, by association, knew or should have known.
Since returning from spring break, there have been multiple new reports of sexual assaults on campus. Last Thursday, one report of sexual battery was reported that allegedly occurred at Reed Hall. On Saturday, one report of sexual battery was reported that allegedly occurred outside of Ashton Hall. On Monday, 5 reports of sexual assaults were made. One report of sexual battery allegedly occurred in the Global and International Studies building. One report of rape allegedly occurred at Wilkie Hall. One report of rape allegedly occurred at a fraternity or sorority house. And another report made alleges that 2 counts of sexual battery occurred also at a fraternity or sorority house.
Yet another fraternity was placed on cease and desist for endangering others according to Office of Student Life's list of organizations on disciplinary status. Phi Sigma Kappa is on cease and desist until further notice, just 4 days after all Greek life events were put on pause back in March. The Interfraternity Council and Pan-Hellenic Association paused events to address student safety concerns. Events resumed just after spring break, but the organizations did not provide a reason as to why it was safe to lift the suspension. IUPD continues to receive and handle sexual assault and hazing reports in Greek life, even during the pause, with rape and sexual battery reports.
So when you're putting that on 20 and 21-year-olds who are also, this is an extracurricular, it's not fair, right? You can be the smartest college student in the world with the best intentions and still not have like the emotional or temporal resources to be a support to a single victim, not to mention be like basically single-handedly responsible for protecting 120 people from gender-based violence on campus.
Interfraternity Council and Pan-Hellenic representatives declined to comment.
Protesters took to the streets in Bloomington last night, calling for the protection and preservation of Social Security. A group of demonstrators gathered outside Bloomington's Social Security office on West Patterson Drive, holding signs and addressing passing traffic. The crowd expressed opposition to proposed cuts to Social Security, criticizing policies they say could threaten benefits for future generations. Protesters pointed to recent layoffs, office closings, and changes from President Donald Trump and Elon Musk as part of future budget cuts. Bloomington is joining a nationwide movement to fight what activists call the looting of the country. It is billed as a mass mobilization day. On social media, Councilwoman Sydney Zulik said Bloomington is fighting back against what she refers to as the, quote, destruction of our government and for the economy for the benefit of Donald Trump and his billionaire allies, end quote. The noon protest is part of the Hands Off National Day of Action. It is set for Saturday at noon at the Monroe County Courthouse Square.
Now to a heartwarming story. For kids battling serious illnesses, hospital visits are routine. But this past weekend, some of them got a much-needed break. One filled with fun, friendship, and a little bit of basketball magic. IU NewsNet's Razan Omer takes us inside the adventure.
Good job, Marie. Take a seat.
An adventure, that's what a Kids Again brought to children with life-threatening illnesses at Assembly Hall.
You would think that the kids would be like upset because like they're always in the hospital, or like they're like something's wrong with them, but they always have a smile on their face, and it's really good to see that.
That smile, even after countless hospital visits. For Crystal Watts' daughter, those visits have included 3 brain surgeries. And she isn't shy about sharing her story.
She always asks everybody, where did you have surgery? Where did you have surgery? Because I had surgery on my brain.
Brain surgery, a topic too heavy for most kids. But here, it's just another way to connect.
We see a lot of parents, talking and sharing and, learning about each other. We see siblings forming friendships. And again, we just help these families create a memory together.
Memories that will forever be treasured.
I think it's a great way to meet other moms who, our kids aren't like the typical, play at the playground, be able to do all the things.
Here, where Assembly Hall is transformed into a playground of hope.
Hope and excitement.
It was in awe at seeing Assembly Hall because, we watch the IU games on TV and we cheer for IU basketball, but for her to walk in there and see it, she was like, wow, this is so cool.
Cool enough to be some kid's favorite memory yet.
I actually was talking to a kid earlier who's been to a lot of adventures in the past, and he looked at me and he said, this is my favorite adventure. What a cool experience.
One that left even volunteers inspired.
It shows that there's a lot of good in this world, and if I'm having a bad day, I know that these kids are gonna smile regardless. So I should also smile.
Reporting for IU NewsNet, I'm Razan Omer.
When we come back, rain is slamming Bloomington, but when the weather clears up, you'll be able to walk and dine on Kirkwood. More about the spring switch off from cars to people.
Plus, 2 rivals, IU and Purdue, come together to make miracles for critically ill children. You'll hear the story of one of them. Stay with us for an inspiring story, still ahead on IU NewsNet.
Welcome back to IU NewsNet.
The only IU trustee to offer occasional resistance to the IU administration will not seek re-election when her term is up. On Monday, IU Board of Trustee Vivian Winston made the announcement. Winston was first elected to the board in 2022. In a statement, Winston said, quote, "It has been an honor for me to have had the opportunity to serve as a trustee for the university I love. During this time, my goal has always been to do what is best for the university as a whole. After 3 years, it is time for me to step aside. My hope is that whoever replaces me will feel deeply the privilege and responsibility of being an IU trustee, end quote. Winston's term is set to end on June 30th.
In Indiana, Congresswoman faced her constituents in 2 town hall meetings over the weekend, and here is why they made national news. There was a whole lot of shouting at town hall meetings in Muncie and Westfield held by Republican Congresswoman Victoria Spartz. In both cases, a capacity crowd turned out with even more voters outside the venues. During these meetings, Spartz addressed the national and state governments, as well as the current political climate, but was met with much opposition. Many constituents booed Spartz and shouted chants like "Do your job." Spartz later explained that although these meetings are not always easy, they are necessary for the democratic process.
Tests are underway on suspected human bones uncovered near Interstate 69 last week. A construction crew clearing land for a housing development on West Acuff Road came across the bones in a wooded area. The Monroe County coroner was notified, and a forensic anthropology team from Indianapolis worked to recover the remains. Police investigations hope DNA testing will lead to an identity.
You can add a new expression to the list of campus crimes: aerial voyeurism. IU police say someone flew an unauthorized drone last week near Eigenman Hall to apparently peek into windows. Aerial voyeurism is considered a Class A misdemeanor. That's the act of operating an unmanned aerial vehicle with the intention of capturing images, video, or audio recordings of a person inside their home or on their property. To operate a drone lawfully in accordance with IU policy, the operator must obtain an approval and provide evidence of FAA approval as well. Many residents didn't even know until they read about the IDS article about it. They say the whole thing is creepy.
Definitely violated, and just like I said, like unsettling. Like the fact that somebody would do that is just kind of uneasy feeling, and just to know that like we're supposed to be in our like comforting place, like in our room, and just to know that somebody's trying to look in.
Currently, police have no suspects regarding the operator of the drone. Anyone with information regarding this incident is encouraged to reach out to IUPD.
An 18-year-old is in jail after police say he fired multiple shots in a playground in Bloomington's Crestmont neighborhood. It happened Saturday night around 7:15 in the 1400 block of West Illinois Court. Police say a verbal confrontation turned physical before Gregory Cordell Baker Jr. pulled out a handgun and fired at 2 people as they ran away. Surveillance footage confirmed the account. No one was injured. This isn't Baker's first encounter with law enforcement. 2 years ago, his parents were charged after police found him at just 16 years old in possession of a semi-automatic assault rifle and several other firearms.
A portion of Bloomington's Signature Street, Kirkwood Avenue, is now closed to traffic until the end of summer, but that means it is open to outdoor diners. Signs and barricades are placed in to direct traffic, and drivers are advised to plan alternate routes. The annual closure, approved by the City Council, went into effect on Tuesday and will run through November, transforming the busy downtown street into a pedestrian-only zone. This seasonal program has now been extended indefinitely, eliminating the need for yearly approval.
We all know that IU and Purdue are rivals on the basketball court and football field. But when that rivalry comes to raising money for critically ill children, it's all good. IU NewsNet's Ava Fermuga joins us in the studio with that story. Ava?
Thanks, Claire. Every spring, IUDM holds their biggest fundraising push, Old Riley Bucket Week, a competition between IU and Purdue at their respective schools to see who can raise the most money for Riley Hospital for Children. IUDM's core values of community and philanthropy inspire its members, who are passionately committed to a cause much larger than themselves.
What looks like a fun event to let loose is actually a movement of change, making a real impact. The essence of IU Dance Marathon is passion. Passion to support critically ill children at Riley Hospital. And that passion comes to life like this. It saves children like Emma Pastorio, a former Riley patient whose life changed in an instant. One day, she seemed fine, and the next, she was airlifted to Riley Hospital, where she became the recipient of a life-saving heart transplant.
I was like, she seems so fine, but like, yeah, there's something so big and wrong with her. And Riley just made me, even just her brother, feel so safe and so like just like sure that she was going to be okay.
And that comfort and exceptional care is the reason James and so many other students devote themselves to raising as much money as they can for patients who have more love to bring to the world.
She has so much love in her, and you know, I tell her that all the time. I'm like, you just had so much love, you needed another heart.
Stories like Emma's are not an anomaly, which is why IU students work diligently and enthusiastically to raise funds to support the hospital.
Well, everyone likes to have fun. At the heart of the event is the kids, and everyone's main goal is to raise a lot of money.
And one way they raise money is through friendly competition, like the States Challenge, where each committee races to get the most donations from each state in just 1 hour.
Some committees get really competitive with it, like Riley Development and Dancer Relations, and they kind of have like a rivalry going. But it's all in love.
And that love goes beyond helping sick children. The impact goes both ways. IU DM lets students support both the hospital and each other.
It's a purpose and it's a family, and there's just like there's nothing better than like the feeling of like getting a donation and knowing that like you're impacting someone who like could grow up to be you.
So, who won the challenge, IU or Purdue? Happy to say it was IU, with nearly $270,000 raised. But the real winners are the children at Riley. Lacie and Claire, now back to you.
When we come back, players from both the men's and women's teams hit the portal, including the top scorer for the women. Lots of rebuilding ahead.
Plus, we are one step closer to what is billed as the world's greatest college weekend. We'll have the highlights and stats from Little 500 qualifications. Stay with us. Welcome back. Lots of sports news. Little 500 quals are in the books, plus IU Swim and Dive has a great performance at the Nationals.
And the top IU scorer for IU women's basketball is leaving for richer pastures. IU NewsNet's Matt Vogel joins us with all the details. Matt?
IU women's basketball all-time #1 three-point shooter has entered the transfer portal. Yarden Garzone made a program record 223 pointers during her 3 years at Indiana, converting over 42% of her attempts from downtown. She entered the portal on Monday under a do not contact tag, meaning she prefers to initiate any contact. With a total of 9 players leaving IU women's basketball, including 6 transfers, Coach Terry Morin and her staff will face nearly an entire rebuild of their roster. One face is Alabama transfer Chloe Spreen, who grew up in nearby Bedford and signed with Indiana on Wednesday. IU men's basketball also has to rebuild almost from scratch with a new coach and multiple players in the portal. Recently, forward Malik Renew committed to his hometown Miami Hurricanes, and highly touted freshman Bryson Tucker announced his intent to transfer following the hiring of new head coach Darren DeVries. Luke Goody's waiver for a 5th year of eligibility is still pending. All scholarship players besides Goody and Dallas James have either graduated or entered the portal. However, DeVries' 6'7" son, Tucker, will be joining the team along with DePaul University guard Connor Enright, according to On3 Sports. In the coaching ranks, West Virginia assistant coach Nick Norton is confirmed to join the Hoosiers along with Cincinnati assistant coach Drew Adams. Also, after 8 seasons with the Hoosiers, Cliff Marshall, head of strength and conditioning, is set to be replaced by Ryan Horn from West Virginia. Saturday marked the start of this year's Little 500 search with a competitive round of qualifications from both the men's and women's fields. It was the fastest qual since 2019, with many teams faulting and having to use a second or third attempt. Delta Gamma secured the pole position for the women with a time of 2 minutes and 43 seconds. On the men's side, the Black Key Bulls took the top spot with a time of 2 minutes and 23 seconds. Unfortunately, not everyone made the cut. 6 men's teams and 3 women's teams were unable to secure a spot in this year's race, showcasing just how competitive the rest of the season is going to be. July marks 4 years since college athletes first became able to profit from their name, image, and likeness. NIL appeared to be an opportunity for college athletes to capitalize on their personal brands, things like jersey sales and video game appearances. Instead, critics are saying it's the survival of the richest. Schools use NIL collectives to wage bidding wars on the nation's top talent, backed by wealthy alumni and boosters. When a program with a smaller cash base gains national attention, its top players are often poached by teams with limitless financial backing. It happened one of the nation's best scorers, New Mexico's Donovan Dent, reportedly received $3 million to transfer to UCLA after leading the Lobos to an upset over Marquette in the NCAA tournament. Indiana alum Steve Alford says the idea of the student athlete is no more.
I don't like the model that we currently have because it's not name, image, and likeness. That's not what it is. There's not that many college players that have that eval as a name, image, and likeness. Most of them are getting what they're getting before they ever produce. And that's not what you should have to produce, then you receive. It's a bad lesson.
Exact spending numbers are not public, but reports suggest Indiana basketball spent around $5 million on this season's roster, reportedly giving over $1 million to Umar Ballo alone, while returners like Trey Galloway received around $500,000 just to stay. Critics say college sports appears to be turning into a minor league system for pro sports, where the only rule is that there are no rules. The IU men's swim and dive season is officially over, and the Hoosiers wrapped it up with an impressive finish. The Hoosiers came in third place overall at the NCAA Championships in Seattle last week, sweeping all 3 diving events for the second time in NCAA history. Senior diver Quinn Henninger won his first career title on the 1-meter springboard. Following that, senior Carson Tyler defended both of his championship titles in both the 3-meter and platform events. Tyler's remarkable performance makes him the first diver to win 3 straight NCAA platform titles. Indiana baseball saw another late lead slip away on Tuesday. Over halfway through the season, the team still faces more questions than it has answers. The Hoosiers hosted number 18 Louisville in a game headlined by missed opportunities. After blowing a 9-run lead last Saturday versus USC, Indiana blew a 2-run lead with 2 outs in the 8th inning on Tuesday. The team committed 5 errors, and head coach Jeff Mercer said that although full of capable young talent, Indiana failed to execute when it mattered most and handed the win to Louisville. Indiana is now 15-14 and 6-6 in the Big Ten. In the Big Ten play, likely needing another late surge if it wishes to make the NCAA tournament for the 3rd straight year. That's all for sports this week. Lacie and Claire, back to you at the desk.
One more thing before we go. Lights, camera, park the car, action.
A seasonal cinematic tradition returns for 2025. Bloomington's Starlight Drive-In hits play on their 2025 film season this weekend. The Starlight is celebrating its 70th season, kicking off the summer movie magic with a screening of the Minecraft movie. The outdoor film space will debut an array of upgrades this year, including a redesigned marquee sign, a new projector, updated audio system, and upgrades to restrooms. The Starlight screen lights up as soon as the sun sets Friday night.
That's it for IU NewsNet for now. We have a behind-the-scenes student production team in the control room and working in the studio for this broadcast. We thank them and we thank you for watching. I'm Claire Tips.
And I'm Lacie Carr. Be sure to follow us on Facebook and Instagram at IU NewsNet and on the IU Media School YouTube channel. Take care, and we will see you next week.